Hey, it's your girl Andrea Joyce. How are you doing today? I'm live with Talk the Talk with Andrea Joyce. It feels so good to be back. I promise you, I'm not going to hold you long. You know, I like to kidnap you sometimes and take you on a ride, but I promise you, this ride is not going to be that long. I want to talk to you today about moving conversation forward, how to have effective communication, confective, good word, effective communication, effective conversations, dialogue between you and whomever you're talking to. Because in life, conversation is so important. Not only is having the conversations, actually speaking what's on your mind and in your heart, but people understanding what you're saying, people listening to what you're saying, and people giving you feedback or a response or making it a two-way. No one wants to have a monologue. Well, there are some people in this world who want to have a monologue. They just want to be the only ones talking so they can get all their points out. And then when it's time to uno reverse, they don't want to listen to you. They don't want to hear you. They are suddenly busy. They got their own thing going on. One thing I learned in life was that in order to be an effective communicator, the first thing I had to learn to do was to clear my mind so that I could effectively listen. You know, we're so busy. I always say we're a microwave community. Everything is moving, popping, jumping, running, going. It's no longer a slow, easy, laid back life, right? I'm from the city too. So we've always kind of been this fast paced, moving, doing three things at one time, multitasking. And what I found out about multitasking was it's not as effective as we would have ourselves believe. We're not going to talk about that right now, but I am going to say to somebody out there, slow down on the multitasking. Take your time, do it right. You can do it if you take your time. Anyway, we have a lot of thoughts when we're talking to people sometimes. Sometimes we're not 100% focused on what they're saying. We're either thinking about the meal we want to prepare or the business plan we have to finish up or some assignment or we got to pick up Billy and Joey's laundry. We got to pick Nancy up from dance recital. We got to do this, we got to do that. Or we're even thinking on how we're going to respond to what you're saying. My turn to talk. Now I get a chance. There's a period at the end of that sentence, or they put a comma there. Let me break in right now where there's a pause and go for the conversation I want to have. Here's the problem with that. If we're constantly thinking on other things and about other things, we don't hear what's being said. One of the dangerous things I learned that my children taught me was to never, ever have a conversation when I'm tired. Never have a conversation when I'm sleepy. My kids would come, I would be half asleep, half awake. Hey, mom, can I go such and such a place? Hey, mom, can I do such and such a thing? Mom, can you? And I found myself saying yes to some things I would have never said yes to. So I was like, oh, okay, I got the trick now. So I would suggest this to you too. Never have conversations when you're tired because your walls are down. You're really not listening. You want to sleep. So you'll say yes to almost anything just to get someone to be quiet and stop asking you the same question, right? So be mindful of that. Also, my suggestion too, and this is one I have to learn from myself, is to really, when I'm in an emotion, whether it is an overly negative emotion or an overly positive emotion, to not make decisions. To just let me think about it. Before I open my big mouth and put my foot in, let me take a moment to just woosah, go back, think back. Was it a good idea? Is it a good decision? Should I say yes? Should I say no? Should I give the information? Should I wait? These are some of the things you want to think about as conversation is happening. When you're angry, that's not a good time to get someone told. When we're angry, And maybe it's not you, maybe it's just me. But when I get angry, sometimes I want to hurt the person who's made me angry. I want to say some things to hurt them because they've hurt me, or they've disrespected me. They put me down. They did something. So now my weapon is, let me cut you down to size. The problem is you can never take words back. And you may find that what you said when you were angry is really not what you meant, or not what you meant to say. Because sometimes in our anger, the truth does come out, but it could be an old truth. It could be something and somehow that we felt once upon a time, but since that time, we've had other information, time to digest some things. And so now our thinking is different. Why am I bringing that up? Because what you say, when you say it, and how you say it are so very important. What you say, you have to be mindful. Yeah, we want to be honest, we want to tell the truth, but you also want to be tactful with that truth. What I mean is, there's a nice way to say some things. You don't have to come off, I'm just blunt, I'm just bold. Baby, trust me, I am blunt and I am bold. But life and time have taught me to temper my words. There's nothing like being angry and bold and let me just tell you this. And then you got to eat your words later when you have to go right back to that person and apologize. Because either you were wrong, you spoke wrong, you spoke out of turn, you spoke in emotion. There was no real truth. It was your truth, not the truth. So that's why I say, there's a time and a place. And sometimes when we're highly emotional, it may not be the right time to have that conversation. Maybe when we've both calmed down, and it's okay to say to someone, you know what? I do want to talk about this, but I'm emotional right now. Let me calm down. Let me get my thoughts together so we can talk about it. Now, if they don't want to respect that, they don't want to give you time, or they're just like, no, let's talk right now, you can put your boundary up. And if they cross your boundary, then it's up to you to decide how you want to progress. Are you going to let them push you into a conversation you know you don't need to have right now? Are you going to walk away and chance them being angry and not speaking to you for a couple of hours or a couple of days or never? But you have to make the decision for you. I'm not going to let people cross my boundaries anymore. I'm very protective of myself, but I'm also protective of other people because I know who I am. See, I can't fake the funk with myself. I don't lie to myself because self is always with me. So I know who I am. And I know when you anger me enough, oh, I'm going to say whatever, whether it's true, whether it's real, to just get you off my back and to leave me alone and move away. That's not good when the smoke clears, when the dust settles. It's not good to do that. So now I know if I'm not in the right headspace to speak to someone, I got to unplug. Okay, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it at another time. Or I may not even bring it up. I may not address it right then. I may think on it for a minute. And then when my cooler head can prevail, then I come back and say, hey, listen, can we talk about this and that? Now, there are times that there are going to be some things you need to address right then and there. So I'm going to ask you to breathe. Take a 30-second count. Breathe in, breathe out. Really, just try to get that tension off, try to get that rage out, the frustration, the irritability, because here's the thing, that person may not be the cause of your irritation. It could have been something that happened on your job. Your bank account was messed up. The kids did something. One of your friends is going through something. Somebody who was supposed to pay you back didn't. So there may be other things that are happening in your life that are pulling on those emotions. And now the person you're connected to, tied to, or having a conversation with wants to talk about something serious and you're not in the mood. So I would rather you be honest and say, I know you want to talk right now, but my mood is off. and I don't want to say anything to jeopardize us or this conversation, can I have a few hours to get back to you? Can I have a day and then we could talk about it? I don't want to ignore your feelings. I don't want you to be hurt or angry or upset. But so much has happened with my day that I'm not going to be good with this conversation. That's an honest answer, an honest way to let them know, hey, this may not be the right time and it may come off the wrong way. So let's not even have this conversation right now. Again, they may push because I know some people who they're like, I want to talk and I want to talk right here, right now, and get it out. I don't want time to make it bigger. I don't want time to make me more angry. I don't want to sleep on my anger or my disappointment or my problem because the Bible says don't go to sleep in anger. So I need to go ahead and say it now, and you're just going to have to hear me. You two discuss it. And if you're not able to postpone it, please take moments to breathe. But listen to what they're saying, hear what they're saying, understand and comprehend what they're saying. I did a post the other day that says, hear, listen, comprehend. It's so important that not only do you hear the words coming out of their mouths, but you also hear what's not said all the time. There's some things that people will never say outright, but you can see it written all over their face. When you're listening to someone, it's not just words coming into your ears. You should be looking at them. Watch their body language. Body language is so important because I might say, I'm fine. But what does my body language say? My body language says I'm not fine. I am not okay. There is a problem and there is an issue. So you have to read people, look in their eyes, see if they're telling you the truth. Now, there's some good liars out there that could stare you right in the eyeballs and lie to you. You could have all the information in the world knowing that they're lying, but they're such good liars. They could look at you, stare at you in your eyes with a teardrop right here in the corner because they're so sincere, and you know they're lying, and you're sitting here questioning yourself like, wait, I have all the receipts, but am I right about it? I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about those that are dare to be honest with you and have a conversation. It is great to look in their eyes and say, hey, oh, I'm sorry. See, I'm getting distracted. Look in their eyes and have a conversation and say, tell me the truth. Tell me how you honestly feel. Let me know what's going on with you. How can we maneuver this? How can we move? How can we work together? How can we go into agreement with this conversation? How can we get some resolution? Because at the end of it all, you want resolution. You want to be able to say, we've resolved this for the better. It might be for the worse, but at least it's resolved. One of the key things to do also, and I kind of mentioned it, was to look at the body language, right? To stare each other in the eyes so you can see and trust. The eyes are the window to the soul. So if I'm able to look at you in your eyes and talk to you about a thing, I would hope that I would be honest about it. I would hope that I would not take that for granted and lie to you. I would hope that I'd have the conversation, right? Then what is important is your tone. Your tone is important. Now, I'm going to be the first one to admit that when I'm angry and my voice is not low like it is right now. I'm probably screeching to the top of my lungs because I want to be heard. I have this passion. I'm so passionate. I got to get it out. I got to get it told right now. And the problem with that is you can hurt people's feelings. You can break people's hearts. You can disrespect people. You can embarrass people. Your tone is just as important as the words that come out of your mouth. Let me tell you about tone. You could mean something in the nicest way possible, but because your tone sounds snarky, because your tone sounds irritable or irritated, that person will get offended. And you could have said something that wasn't mean, that wasn't harsh, that wasn't harmful, But because of your tone, now they have a problem with you because they're taking your tone for what it sounds like. So, for example, you can do better than that. That doesn't sound harmful. That doesn't sound hurtful. Sounds like I'm kind of encouraging. You can do better than that. Okay, let's try this. You can do better than that. Wouldn't you be offended if someone came to you and you did your all? Or you think you've done your all, you think you've done your best, you think you've stepped up and done a great job, and here they come. You could do better than that. Now you're ready to probably snatch their wig off, right? You're ready to give them some words that they can do or use for their own, right? Your tone is so important, especially when talking to someone you have respect for. Well, it's important in any conversation, but even more so with someone you respect, someone you love, someone in your life, someone you have partnership with, a relationship with, friendship with, and a relationship of whether it's business, uh, ministry, anything. You want to make sure that they know you respect them. You're not always going to agree. Please hear me when I say that. I don't know any two people who have agreed 100% on anything, whether it's in a job market, the job place, uh, in ministry, in education, in business. You're gonna disagree at some point in time, and it's okay. Everybody has the right to an opinion. I always say, just like a belly button, everybody's got an opinion. That does not mean that their opinion is right. Hold on, is this mic on? Tap, tap, tap. I would tap it, but it would hurt your ears. Every opinion is not based on fact. Please know that. So just because someone has an opinion doesn't mean it's right, but it's theirs. And here's what trips me out on social media. When someone writes, in my opinion, black is an ugly color, there are 15,000 people who will come to that post to argue that person down. Not argue their opinion, but to argue that person down for having that opinion. No, you wrong, bro. Black is the best color, and you silly, you stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. Hold on. They clarified what they were saying when they first made the post. They made their position really clear. In my opinion, or IMO. That's what that means, in case you didn't know. In my opinion. That means you might have your opinion, and that's good for you. But on my page and on my post, in my opinion, black is an ugly color. Period. And you sit here and have these 5-hour conversations and arguments trying to change this person's opinion. If they didn't have that opinion in the first place, they would have never mentioned it. Why do we try to argue people against having the opinion that they have? See, we got to stop thinking that opinion means fact. That just because I say what I feel or I say what I think, that doesn't make it the fact. It doesn't make it the truth. It makes it how I feel. And as we're trying to get to know people and learn people that are in our lives, we want to know their stance on things. We want to know their opinions about things. Imagine if you're with somebody and all you did was tell them what their opinion should be. First of all, that'd be a headache because that's a lot of communication. That's a lot of talking. That's a lot of trying to pull stuff out. And then now they're not their own person, they're your clone because you're giving them what they should feel, what they should think, what they should say, how they should say it. This, you shouldn't say it at this time, but you're good to, now you're feeding them, and you essentially have a robot. You essentially have you just looking like another person. I would cringe if I had to do that. But we do it every day. We don't even realize it. When someone says something and we disagree with it, what's the first thing we want to do? I'll answer because I do it all the time. Argue. I want to argue them down because I feel how I feel about a thing. And because I feel the way I feel about it, you should feel that exact way too. You should be in agreement with me. You shouldn't have your own thoughts. You shouldn't have your own opinions. What I say goes. What I think rules. I'm right. You're wrong. It's not how life works. Here's what I've learned, unfortunately, for my ego. A lot of the opinions I used to have, let's say at age 20, let's say from about 20 to 25, are opinions that I no longer have now. Life, time, and experience are such great teachers. And they taught me that some of those opinions I had were deadly, dangerous, harmful, hurtful, and wrong. So imagine if all our lives we carry these opinions, never open our mind to hear somebody else's points of view, never open up ourselves to research, to read something, to not just get it off social media, but to actually research. See, it's very dangerous, and I don't want to talk about it, but I got to talk about it. Everything you see on social media is not real. I have seen and have proven a couple of times that things that people have said on social media have been fake, false, wrong, and a full lie. They took one sentence out of 15 paragraphs and put their opinion to that one sentence. But instead of saying, hey, this is just how I feel about a thing, this is my thought, they use it as the gospel truth. When you read this, this is what it says. When you think that, this is what it means. You should do this because, and I'm sitting here like, whoa, where'd you get that information from? Did you read? Because had you read the big 15 paragraph message, you would have seen that one line, that one sentence was circumvented and turned around, explained so it would make sense as to why it's wrong. But you saw something that you agreed with in your spirit, and bam, it's right. I don't have to study. I don't have to say anything. Here it is right here in black and white. I saw it, and it's the gospel truth, and it's a gospel lie. I'm just telling you. So you have to be careful of listening to podcasts. I tell everybody, if you listen to me, study for yourself. You see me doing weekly posts, and when it has to do with anything, I tell you, study. I'll put it in my comments, study. Study for yourself. Get to know it for yourself. When I do the love series on Word in the House Ministries, whatever sermon, I want you to study. That's why I tell you, read this. I tell you where I took it from, but read it for yourself because you may get a different understanding than I got. I'm not 100% the know it all, know all, be all. That is not my name. My name is not God. It is Andrea. And I am clear that there may be information that I have incorrect for whatever the situation is. For me, it may be right, it may be real, but for you, it may not land. So, what I tell you to do, study, research, look for yourself. This is where I got the information from. Go look it up for yourself and make your own decision, your own choice, because your life is different than mine. Do you know someone who struggles with a trauma will see something differently than you see that same situation? Because they're seeing not only from experience, they're seeing it from the eyes of the trauma. So they may see something different than what you see because you didn't go through the experience and you didn't go through the trauma. That's why it's important to listen to each other and not just listen to respond, not just listen to give your 2 cents, not listen to get someone told, but to listen to what it is they're actually saying. What is it? What are they saying? What are the words? Are you hearing words come out of their mouths? First of all, did you clear out everything that was going on in your head, the multitasking? Did you clear out the thoughts so that you can hear them with these two things right beside you? I remember my mom and people always used to say, you have one mouth and two ears. Your ears need to work more than that one mouth that you have. And I used to be like, okay. Because I'm a talker. I got a shirt that said made to be a yapper or something like that. And I wear it all the time because I talk a lot. It's who I am. I love to talk. God blessed me with the gift of gab. I use it. But I try not to talk so much that I miss what other people are saying. I want to say this to someone today, too. You are a listener. You listen. People can come to you, they can pour out to you, and you'll never repeat what's said. Matter of fact, you may forget what they're saying because so many people come to you that you can't keep it all together anyway. But you're a good listener and they come to you. Here's the problem, and I found this to be true: reciprocity. There are 100 people that can come to you and unload, unburden themselves, confess, get advice from you. But then when you need someone to speak to, when you need to unload, when you need to be unburdened, you don't have anybody that you can speak with. That's a very dangerous thing to be in. As someone who is a listener, I used to have so many people who would come to me and talk to me, and I would listen. And if they needed advice, I would advise them to the best of my ability. I also would tell them, hey, this is just me. You do what you want. I'm going to support you with however you decide to go, left, right, front, back, however, I got your back, right? Then I will call because something has happened in my life because I've been through a lot. And I'd be like, hey, I need to talk. Oh, I'm busy. I'll call you back. Or as I start to tell my tale, I get interrupted, cut off because, oh, that reminds me, I have to tell you. And I'm like, wasn't I just talking? And I find that I have become very irritated when I'm cut off from giving my opinion, when I'm over talked. So I'm talking and you're talking at the same time. Or when you get loud, like I'm talking and now you're no, no, ha. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So you're loud talking me, you're over talking me, and you're cutting me off. Those are three of my biggest pet peeves. I will shut down. And I have had people who have come to me and said, why don't you talk? Why aren't you talking? Why aren't you giving your opinion? Why aren't you? And I'm like, I got nothing to say. Meanwhile, I got a lot to say. But being that you didn't respect me enough to let me get it out, I no longer am concerned. Whatever I was going to say went out the window. And it might have been something that would have helped you. It might have been something that would have helped us. And the more you do it, the more I shut down, the more I back out. And you would be surprised to know that this Northern Belle, this Miss Yapper, this talk a lot, Miss talks all the time, is very quiet. Even though I love to talk, even though I have a million stories that are real, I'm not making these stories up. I have lived life when I tell you, and I'm continuing to live. But I'm very quiet, very quiet. I'll just sit back and just chill. I have nothing to say because I'm so tired of having been cut off, of having been overtalked, of having been loud spoken to. You know, all that. And I'll go back and forth with you until I don't. And I chill now. I don't even, I'm like, okay, somebody will ask me something. I just sit and look at them. And then they look at me and I'm like, they're like, don't you have something to say? No. I ain't got nothing. And they look at me like, you don't have anything to say? No, 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 I don't. So I'm telling you this too, because not only is it what you say, not only is it when you say it, not only is it your tone, but it's the respect factor that if you get to have a conversation with me, I should be able to have a conversation with you with the same metrics. Don't tell my business because I'm not telling yours. Give me a chance to get it all out like I gave you a chance to get it out. If I don't ask you for advice, just hold it. Don't advise me unless I ask cuz I do that for people. Do you want me to give you advice or do you want me to just listen? You want me to be a sounding board? Most of the time, they want advice. I'm like, "Okay, I'll give it to you." When I give you my advice, don't get mad at me. I'm just giving you what I have. That's all I can do. So don't beat me up. I'm the messenger in this. I'm not telling you to cross the street. I'm not telling you to not cross the street. I'm just saying this is the information I have. And one of the things I do not do is if I were you, I remember when I was younger, I used to do that all the time. I used to make myself sick. You know why? Because if I were you, I don't know what I would do. Until you're in someone's situation, you can never tell them what you would do. I have seen people break up because of somebody's, if I were you, if that was me, and da, 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 da. And then guess what happened? About 5 years, 2, 3 years later, that person is in the situation and the advice they gave to that other person, they didn't even follow. I'm sitting here like, but you said if it were you, you said if you were in that situation, and you are, but you're not doing what you told them to do. You're a hypocrite. What are you going to do? No, that's not right. Not when you broke up that happy home and now she's miserable, he's miserable, and you sitting here sucking it up. No, that's what made me stop because you don't want to give your advice or your opinion in a matter that can cause someone to make a decision solely based on what you say. So I'm real clear. Listen, I don't know the total answer, but I can tell you from my experience, not what I'm guessing, not what I'm thinking, not what I heard, but my experience is when I did this, this and this and this and this happened. Now that doesn't mean it's gonna, and you've heard me say this. That doesn't mean it's gonna happen for you like that. It doesn't mean you're gonna go through that experience. It doesn't mean that but for me, this is what happened. This is what goes down. Now, let me just be clear, because there are some occasions when God likes to speak into my ear. And now I got to tell you some things that I ain't not telling you, but I just got it downloaded to me and I'm going to upload it to you. There are those, and I'm clear that I pray and I ask God, you want me to say this? You may never see my mouth move. I may not utter the words out loud, but when God starts speaking to my ear and I got to say something to somebody, I'm like, God, this really you? This ain't Andrea, right? I'm praying, Lord, please let me say the right thing. Okay, God, this is a lot of responsibility, but that's the office I walk in. One of the offices I walk in is the prophetic. And so there are times when God speaks to me prophetically and I've got to say something to somebody, but that's when I'm called to. When I'm just Andrea and God ain't tapping me or whispering or pointing something out, and you get Andrea, just Andrea is going to say, when I was in that situation, I did this, this, and this. I don't know if it's going to work for you. I feel like maybe it could work. Maybe it won't work. Maybe you shouldn't do it, but you got to think about it and pray about it. I say it all the time because you don't want someone to take your word as solely it. You are the Lord and master of this opinion. You are Lord and master of this idea or this decision or what they should do. And then it doesn't work out. And now they're looking at you like, wow, I listened to you and this is what happened. Or they don't look at you because they don't ever want to talk to you again because really? Let me give you an example, a situation. I'm not going to go too far into it because I'm not. But there was a time where in my life, I had some mentors, right? And also friends that I kind of had on a pedestal because they were just living their lives right. They were just so in line, so in order, just ooh, could do no wrong in my eyes. And I was in a situation that I should not have been in, right? And while in that situation I should not have been in, they found out I was in it. And they immediately, it was me. I told on myself. It's nothing they heard. The grapevine wasn't talking. The streets wasn't talking. I admitted it. I said what I was doing. And they immediately were like, oh, no, 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 no. No, you shouldn't be in that situation because if it were me, if it was up to me, if it was my situation, if I would not, could not, should not with a boat, I would not, could not, should not in a moat. It was all of that, right? And I felt so ashamed, so embarrassed. I let down people who I had put on this pedestal. I had let them down. I couldn't believe it. I was so hurt that I immediately got out of the situation. I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm not doing that because I will not let down people who, I have on this pedestal that I really love, that I really care about. I care about their opinion of me. I care about their opinion in general. Let me hurry up and get out of this. About 3 months later, I'm talking with some people and I am made aware of a situation that they were in. The people who had advised me were all in situations that I had been in and living la vida loca, just loving it up, living it up, toasting back, doing what I'm sitting here like, wait a minute. Wait one darn minute here. You gotta be kidding me. You shamed me. You made me feel unworthy. You made me feel like I had committed the ultimate sin, that I should not even live and breathe. I should not breathe your air. I should not be around. I mean, they made me feel like filth. And here they were in the same situation that they told me I wasn't supposed to be in. It made me feel rotten, horrible, despicable, shame, shame, shame. And they were in it and loving it, having a great, grand old time. And someone said to me, and you were worried about their opinion of you. You were worried about how they saw you. You were worried about them. And look at them now. And that forever stayed with me. So I'm very mindful to not put people on pedestals. That's number one. Number two, I'm very mindful of who I share information with. Number three, I'm mindful of who I listen to. Number four, I realize everybody is human. We all make mistakes. We all have faults. We all have flaws. So the last thing we need to be doing is judging. See, there's a difference between righteous judgment and just judging people. Skank, sucker, jive turkey. Yeah, I was watching some 70s movies, excuse me. But you have to be mindful. And this is why conversation is so important. Getting to know people, seeing who they really are, not who they pretend to be, waiting for people to take the mask off so you can see who they really are. All of this is important because sometimes we base our lives on the things that we do because we don't want to hurt somebody else, because we don't want them to see us different. We don't want them to see us downgraded, lowly. You know what I mean? We want them to think highly of us. We want them to respect us and love us and pat us on the back and approve us and verify us and validate us. And here's the thing, a lot of people we want validation from are not qualified to validate themselves. So, why are they qualified to validate you? We've got to be careful. We give people more power than they deserve because the only one that can validate you, approve you, confirm you is God. Because man can tell you 100 times, no, you don't qualify. I won't do it for you. You don't have the skill set. You don't have the background. You don't have the education. You don't have the experience. You don't have the knowledge. You don't have the know how. You don't have the resources. You don't have sources. No, 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 no. And all God has to do is say, yes. And every naysayer is going to fall like dominoes. They're going down, down, right? Because God's the only one that can qualify you. Do you know there are some jobs where a person was so overly qualified, they didn't get the job? Meanwhile, there was someone who had no qualification, but they got the job because they had God's favor. Because God looked down on them and said, yes. Even though your background, your degrees, your experience, your knowledge, your know how, all of that says no, 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 and people are saying no, 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 I'm going to say yes. And I want you to keep that in mind as you're going through life and you're wanting to do different things. Get out of the box. God is not in a box. Why are you? If you want to try something in business that's never been done before, go for it and surround yourself with people who are going to hype you up, people who are going to encourage you. Yeah, it's good to always have a little naysayer, somebody who may say, it may not work that way. You may want to rethink it. I'm not talking about the naysayer who's like, no, it'll never work. You're a sucker. Go on. Boo. Not that person. I want you to have someone who's going to tell you the truth. Don't keep yes men around you. And I don't know where this topic is going to. I thought we were just talking about communication, but all this is coming to me. Yes men are the most dangerous people to have around you because they tell you yes to everything, and some things are just not wise. Some things are just not smart. You need somebody who's going to tell you the truth. And hopefully, as we're talking about conversation, they tell it to you tactfully, with respect, at the right time that you can receive it, and in private. There's nothing like you having a conversation in public where the world hears it. And that embarrasses me. And I've done it. And I never wanted to do it. And I will not do it again. Especially those harmful, hurtful, angry conversations. You don't want to have those in public. First of all, we've got too much to lose. We are all business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders. You don't want someone to catch you on their phone video recording you having a breakdown, spazzing out, acting all willy-nilly, because even though they say no press is bad press, because no matter what you do, somebody's going to look, you're going to get 1,000 views. But when it's time for people to actually deal with you, work with you, sponsor you, pour into you, they're not going to want to work with someone volatile. They're not going to want to work with someone immature. They're not going to want to work with someone jumping up and down on the table or in the chair or just acting a mess because they got to deal with that fallout. It's hard to get advertising dollars for somebody that people think spazzes out all the time. Why do I want to put my money behind them? They may cuss me out. Why would people want to work with difficult people? Why would people want to work with immature people? So you have to be mindful as you're on social media, as you're out in public, to be careful of what you're saying and how you say it. Bump that. I just want to be me. Okay. I didn't tell you not to be yourself. I just said be mindful of where you are because maybe that conversation that you want to have should be kept private between you and the person or people it pertains to. Maybe you don't want to air them out in public because even though they may have done wrong, who is the person who has something to lose? Be mindful that people who have nothing to lose will bait you all the time because they have nothing to lose. As a matter of fact, you're making them. No one would even know who they are if you didn't argue with them, if you didn't spaz out on them, if you didn't go tit for tat. Every time they post something about you, you got to respond. You got to say something. People wouldn't even know them if you kept silent. And for the person and people who are baiting people who are doing those things and you have something to lose, you want to be mindful because people do not want to work with difficult people. I don't care. You hear it all the time. Back in the day before social media, we would hear this actor is difficult to work with. That actor got a chip on their shoulder. And guess what? Those actors might have been in some of the blockbuster movies, but you ain't see too much of them. And it's not because their cost was so high, the cost of working with them was too high. And so I'm just saying this to you. If you have anything to lose, you're a parent, you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a business owner, you have a brand, you're trying to build your bag, be mindful of what you have because you could mess up everything. And that's why this is important, not only to get to know people, so that way you get the right people in your life and prayerfully the wrong ones will move on or you'll remove them. But it's also about your livelihood, your future, your goals, whatever it is you're trying to do. Conversations are very, very important. I used to be the Incredible Hulk. You know that. I have likened myself to him many times because I would get angry, rage out, see red. I'm done. I have blacked out. I don't know what's happening. And I'm not going to tell you that the Hulk is retired. I wish. But there are times that anger gets, and I just want to knock somebody's block off. But then I got to think about it. What do I have to lose? My freedom. I don't like not being able to go when I want to go, eat when I want to eat when I want to eat, sleep when I want to sleep, do what I want to do. I love that. Freedom is very important to me. But then I have children that I want to see and talk to all the time, grandchildren I want to see grow up. I have a business or two or three. I have a brand. I have a ministry. God has called me to not have jail ministry. I'm not Paul. So I got to think about that snap, crackle, pop conversation and back away from it when it gets too emotional. All right, they trying me. Oh, they trying me. Oh, I could just 1, 2, 3, start counting and start breathing. My pastor, my old pastor, used to say the 10-finger prayer worked for him all the time when he got to a place where he was going to turn other than who he should be. And it's Philippians, I think it's 4:17. Don't quote me. I'll put it in the notes if I'm wrong. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. The 10-finger prayer. Say that to yourself over and over, over and over, over and over as you feel yourself getting angry and wanting to pop off. Just focus on that. Breathing is another good focus. Having a focal point. Now, see, I want you to listen to the person who's talking with you. I want you to give them your full attention. I want you to hear them. I want you to listen to them, and I want you to comprehend. But what I don't want you to do is be sitting in an emotion that is dangerous, that you will do something crazy, that you will harm yourself. No, or harm them. I would rather you take a time out. Hey, we need to stop. I'd rather you walk away. And I know they don't like it. They want to get what they got to say together. But I would rather you walk away so that you don't hurt them and they don't hurt you, or you don't hurt each other, or you go somewhere to a place that you can't come back from. And it's Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. It is Philippians 4:13. So yes, then use that. Put that in your arsenal. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Put that in your arsenal. Have different scriptures in mind, or positive conversation that you can replay as a person is angering you, so you can focus on it. Breathe, and hey, you know what? This is getting a little emotional. I'm feeling away right now. Give me a few minutes. I'll be back. Or I don't want to talk about this right now. Sometimes I've had to run. Like, you don't want to listen to me? I got to go and leave, because I know that I'm getting to a place where I'm going to say something hurtful, something harmful, something damaging, something I can't take back, because once the words are out, you can't reel them back in. This is very important to know in conversation. Whatever you say is said. There's no erasing it. There's no, what is it? Control Alt Delete as I look at the computer. There's none of that. Whatever you said is said, and you have to deal with it. I remember I said something hurtful to my daughter when she was probably 10, 9, 8 years old, 11, maybe 12. I'm trying to think how old she was. I can't remember. But do you know, to this day, she still remembers it? And I cringe every time she says it, because it was hurtful to her. And it hurts me that I said it, because I am a child who it was said to. And it messed me up, messed up my self esteem, messed up my feelings. I felt neglected, rejected, and abandoned. And I said these words to my child, and I didn't even mean them. I was so angry that it just bubbled out, but I didn't mean it. And I can never take those words back. So every time she brings it up, I cringe on the inside. I have apologized to have blue in the face, and you know I'm a dark skinned woman, so it's hard for me to turn blue, but I have apologized until I was blue in the face. It doesn't matter. So I'm saying to you, walk away, take a breath, pray, meditate on something positive. Just don't, when you are highly emotional, continue the conversation until you calm down, so that you can really receive what the person is saying. Whether you agree or not, it's their opinion, it's how they feel, it's what they think. You can't tell someone what they think. And that's one of the big parts of an argument. People want to tell you what you think. Only you know what you're thinking. You and God, that's it. And I've done it. I've done it to people. I'm trying to tell them, no, but you, no, Andrea, no, you don't know. Be quiet. And I've had to do this recently, to tell myself to be quiet. And it's hilarious when you're having a conversation in your head, telling yourself to be quiet so you can understand what someone else is saying. And I've actually just had to sit there and listen. It's hard, because some of it feels like criticism, some of it feels like rejection, some of it feels like the person is downgrading you. and disrespecting you, sometimes it is. I won't lie. Sometimes it isn't. My point is give them the benefit of the doubt, allow them to say what it is that they want to say, need to say sometimes, and then breathe on it. And once you've heard them out, you can do one or two things in your conversation. You can say, I've heard everything you said, and I'd like to respond to what you said. Or you can say, I mean, there are many options, but these two are what I'm talking about. You can say, I've heard everything that you said, and I need a moment to just marinate on it, meditate on it. But while I'm meditating on what you said, here's something I want to talk about. We'll put pin in a pin in what you talked about. So we'll come back to that. But here's what I want to talk about. I just want to address this really quickly. Please listen to me the way I listen to you. And then when I'm done, if you don't want to respond to that right now, let's table it and we'll come back and we'll talk about it another time. See what I did there? I'm telling you, I heard what you said. I heard it. I can't respond right now. I need to meditate on it. I need to think about it. I need to process it. I'm also saying I have something to address as well that does not tie into what you addressed, or it ties into it differently. Here's a different viewpoint. So I'm not negating what you said. I'm saying I heard you. I just can't address it right now. Or I'm saying I heard you. Let me address it right now. And when I finish addressing it, then can we talk about what I need to talk about? Can we discuss what I need to discuss? Can we have a conversation about what I'm going through, what I'm feeling, how I'm going? And then you can do that. That's the mature way. And this is what we want to get to in conversation. We want to be able to make everybody involved in the conversation feel heard, feel seen, feel listened to, and understood. That is the whole key to everything we've talked about today. That is so important. It's important in business, it's important in the workplace, it's important in education, it's important in ministry, it's important in families, it's important in friendships, it's important in marriages, it's important in romantic relationships, it's important even for acquaintances. When you go into a store, when you go to get gas, when you go buy a dress, when you're online and you don't like something and you have to send a message to the person, the seller. It's important. Communication, effective communication is important in every area of your life. So now is the time to actually practice, exercise it, use it, utilize it. Effective communication. Hear, listen, understand, or comprehend. It's not always easy, but the more you try, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Thank you so much for tuning in with your girl, Andrea Joyce, today. Remember something, do what you love what you do, and always keep God first.